Om Amma. Know the basics of Sanatana Dharma. Topic: what are the principles behind Vedic chanting? Vedas, Part 6. Episode 42 by Chandrasekhar J. Dear friends, Vedas are called Shrutis. They are to be heard when chanted. It was an oral tradition that through ages it was given from guru to disciple, never written down, because sound is more important here. Utmost importance is given to the sound, the pronunciation and the method of chanting. Meticulous care was taken by sages to preserve the Vedic utterance and is being transmitted through ages orally. Before learning Vedas, the students will be trained in 6 Vedangas, which we have discussed in our previous episodes. 4 of them related to language or sound of Vedas. First one is Siksha, the knowledge of pronunciation. The second one, Vyakarna, the sound-based grammar rules. Third one, the Chandas, that is meter, the letters and the length of each verse. And Nirukta, the etymology, the roots of the words and its meanings. Dear friends, this is how the Vedas are preserved, where the sound is given utmost importance and precision of the sound is taken care. Now, dear friends, Kanchi Paramacharya Chandrasekharendra Saraswati says, the sound of Vedic mantras pervading the atmosphere is extremely beneficial. There are ways in which the sound is to be produced to make it advantageous to us. The Vedas have to be chanted in this way. There are 3 ways of chanting Vedas. They are Udata, Anudata, Swarita. Some notes are to be raised, some notes are to be lowered, some are to be uttered in even manner. The sound and swara together will turn the powers of cosmos favorable to us. This is what Kanchi Paramacharya Chandrasekharendra Saraswati says about the Vedas in his book Hindu Dharma. Now, the Udata means the pitch, even pitch. Swarita means higher pitch. Anudata means the low pitch. Suppose I say ah in an even tone, it should not be higher or lower. When I am talking, when I am saying ah, it should be on even tone. Say, let me chant it. Ah. This is Udata, because I have made it into an even pitch. Now, slightly higher than this is Swarita. Continuing it in a same manner. And Anudata, the low pitch. No variations in the sound to be practiced. So this is how the Vedas are learned and this is how the Vedas are taught. Now, dear friends, in Taittiriya Upanishad, in Maharanya, we got Durga Suktam. Durga Suktam is very famous. We will see here how the variations occur. Now, suppose Swarita means a mark is put upwards for our notation, and Anudata means the horizontal line under the syllable. So Swarita means a vertical line above the letter, and the Anudata means the horizontal line below it. And Udata is even. So everything is said in Udata, and Swarita will change and Anudata will change. And we will be seeing it in the chanting here. And when there is a Dirghaswarita, that is when 2 two times the same thing is produced. Here we will come across see Jata Ve, like that it will be chanted. So you will be hearing it here from a Vedic scholar.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Atha Durga Suktam Om Jata Vedase Sunavama Soma Marati Jato Nidahati Vedaha Sana Parshadati Durgani Vishwa Nave Vasindhum Duridatyagnihi Tamagnivarnam Tapasajvalanti Vairochanim Karma Phaleshu Dushtam Durgam Devigam Sharanamaham Prapajye Sutarasitarase Namah Agne Tvam Parayadav.
Dear friends, in Jushtam, you would have seen that. So, dear friends, that's how the Durga Suktam is rendered with all these swara variations. Now, Kanchiparmacharya again says, chanting them, the Vedas means only voicing such syllables as would cause beneficial vibrations of the nadis, beneficent vibrations that would produce such mental states that would lead to well-being in this world and thereafter and ultimately to the liberations. Raja Yoga especially talks about pranayama. Pranayama, through pranayama, nadis become suddhi and mind gets controlled, and you will slowly get into dhyana, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. So all these things will happen because of pranayama. So similarly, in mantra yoga also, you get the same benefit as in Raja Yoga. This is how the whole things are designed, dear friends. Now, Siksha Shastra and Vyakarana now deal with all these things, aspects of it. Swara, the pitch, we have just discussed about it. Varanam, in the previous episode, we have discussed about all the alphabets, how Oshtavyas, that is Papa, Baba, Ma, from the lips, Kantavyas are Kakha, Gaganya, Chachajana. So all these things are beautifully designed by Panini, giving importance to the sound. Now, Matra, the timing, within what time it should be told, it should be chanted, it should be uttered. This is taken care. And there is a Matra for each syllable and how it should be pronounced. And Balam, the effort required, how much of effort has to be put for rendering the particular syllable in him. This is also taken care. Samam, without speed, it should be maintained without speed. And Samantam, avoiding delays. There should not be delays. So this is how the whole Siksha and Vyakarna takes care of the sound, and the sound is preserved in Vedic chanting only because it has to be it has to purify the nadis. The purifying the nadis is more important. This is why the devatas are invoked through the Vedic chanting, and we are the first beneficiaries of it, and the world around us is the second beneficiaries of these things, dear friends. Now, let us discuss about the methods of various Veda chanting. Dear friends, there are various methods of Veda chanting. This is only to preserve the originality of the song with precision and to teach it to others orally through memorizing them. So memory, so this is how the whole system of Vedas, they have been preserved from Guru to Sishya and Sishya to again his Sishyas, like that. It has been transmitted orally for the very particular reason, because the sound is more important. All the other aspects of the Vedas are written down. But when it comes to Vedas, they are to be heard and they are to be chanted. They have to be, this is why it is called a Shruti. Now, the method of chanting is called Patha. There are Prakriti Patha, that is natural way, Vikriti Patha, that is it is artificial way. Prakriti Patha has two ways. Normally it is said, there are many ways, but we are discussing here only two patas here, Vakyapata and Padapata. Vakyapata means natural way of chanting without repeating, but sandhis between the words are produced. So yesterday, while discussing Om, we discussed about the sandhi. A plus U becomes O, that is the sandhi. So instead of saying A and O separately, we say U, A and U separately, we say O. So this is the sandhi between the two words. So this is how the in Vakyapata it is rendered. There is Padapata. Padapata means natural way of chanting without repetition, but no sandhis are followed. It is as it is, the words are split and they are uttered. That is called Padapata. Now, in Vikritipata, there we have Kramapata. Kramapata means the pattern is followed. The pattern is first word and second word is repeated along with the third word, and third word is repeated along with the fourth word, and fourth word is repeated with the fifth word. Means the second word is repeated twice, the third word is repeated twice, and fourth word is again repeated twice, fifth word is again repeated twice. This is how the Kramapata goes. In Jatapatha, it is the pattern is going forth and back. Going forth and back, that is 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. First word, second word, again second word, first word, and again first word, second word. Similarly, second word, third word, second word, and second word, third word. This is how the whole pattern is designed. Now, when in coming to Ganapatha, it is a complicated process. It is done like a feat, but when we hear a Ganapatha, that's why it's called as Ganapati. When he is chanting the Vedic chanting, it is wonderful and it will be very pleasing to us, and it will be really benefiting us in many ways. The pattern here is one of the Ganapatha we have taken here. It is first word, again second word, again first word, and again first word, again second word, and third word, second word, first word, and first word, second word, and third word. 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, then 3, 2, 1, and then again 1, 2, 3. Similarly, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, and 2, 3, 4. This is how the pattern, it is a complex process. This is how the Vedas are chanted, dear friend. This is how our ancestors preserved the wonderful sound of Vedas. So I once again repeat, Vedas are Shrutis. They are rendered, they are chanted only to invoke the divine vibrations and for our benefit and for the benefit of the world. This sound is given the utmost priority in all the Vedic chanting. So the way of chanting, the precision, the timing, everything is important in Vedas. So it requires a livelihood, it requires a sadhana to chant Vedas. Not anybody can just like that chant Vedas. So that is a process. That's why from the childhood, they are trained to chant Vedas. So this is the principle behind the Vedic chanting, dear friends. Om Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.